So hi guys, as you know, I can only talk from my own experience, what I've learned and what I feel is working for me and what has not worked for me, and all the trials and errors I've been through over the years. I've been involved over 30 years, and I know I was thrown out to work professionally far more earlier than I should have. And because of my partner at the time, he thought it's time now, and I should have had more under the feet really. So I learned the hard way, but it was not an easy way. It was really a lot of insecurity, a lot of self-doubt, low self-esteem and all them sorts of things. And if I look back now, and with my experience today, if I should start from scratch, let's say that I have no training in what I've been doing over these 30 years, but I've just seen it, so to speak, but I haven't practiced it. What would be my best advice for you? First of all, don't go for the person who just are famous, for example. I met a lot of famous people, not often the most brilliant teachers. A lot of them don't care about the students, they just look for fame and fortune. Not everybody, I'm not saying that, there's a lot of good ones out there as well. But what I'm telling you is that you should be very critical, because it's very common to be in awe of someone, especially if you see them on TV. Or if you see them demonstrating and you think, oh my God, that's a brilliant medium, and they have charisma and they have humor and they have emotions and they bring laughter, and you have a brilliant evening and you really enjoy it, and you think that's a brilliant medium. Well, they might be, but they might not be the best teacher. So what I'm saying is that usually we mediums, we have a forte in one thing or the other. So sometimes we might not be the best demonstrators, but we might be a great teacher. Sometimes we might be better on private sittings and not demonstrating, and sometimes you're a brilliant demonstrator, but maybe not so good at private sittings. So there's different things that actually plays out when we're working like we do. And to find a medium that really have it all, I think is very rare, because all of us, medium or not, we still have our baggage, our luggage of all the shit we've been through in our life, all our insecurities, our fears and whatever, and that will shine through in one way or another, if it is on the stage or if it is on private sittings or if it is in our teaching skills. I don't know. But as a student today, when you look at something, first of all, I want you to say that if you're interested in things like spirituality, mediumship, and all sorts of things, you definitely have a talent there that needs to be looked at, Don't compare yourself with anybody else, not with anybody, because this is a lonely journey and it's solely about you and your development. So don't compare yourself, because that will only bring you down. Because when we compare ourselves with other mediums, we always feel that they're always better than ourselves. And we are not objective to ourselves. So what would I look for if I would look for a medium today who would be my mentor or a big impact in my development? Well, first of all, I will look at how they demonstrate. I will look at how they do a private sitting. But more than anything, I will look as how they are as a human being. Because I believe that you need love, you need compassion, you need to see people, you need to understand people, and you need to love the oddness in different people. We're not supposed to be in the same little box. We're not supposed to be the same. And our talent or our gifts, as some people like to phrase it, it's different to each and every one. And I believe that you have to find someone who can encourage you to find your own true uniqueness. I believe personal development is crucial, you know, because if I would have gone a course on personal development and to find myself in the beginning, instead of just developing the mechanics of the mediumship, I believe I would be a better medium faster than I was. And I also believe that my life would have been a little bit easier than it was. Because we are good, so good at crucify ourselves because we don't think we are good enough. And when you don't think you're good enough, you don't think you have the talent to do this. And it's so easy to say, I wasn't good enough for this. And I'm not a good medium. And I wasn't meant to do this. And that's a phrase that was very popular when I was developing. So if not everything was coming together as it should immediately, it wasn't meant to be. Well, hey, we're human beings with flaws. Not everything is smooth. Sometimes you have to fight and you have to work for what is yours and your right. And your right is to be able to use your spirituality, to be able to contact the spirit world. That's your birthright. Your soul and your spirit is part of that divine love, or whatever you want to call it. A lot of people, especially in Sweden, have problems to call it God. And we have a famous football player called Zlatan Ibrahimovic in Sweden, or he was very famous. And he always said, my religion is football. And religion really just means coming together with like-minded people. So God doesn't necessarily have to be a man with a white beard and a stick that condemn people up in the sky. You know, I don't believe in that whatsoever. I believe in an energy, and an energy doesn't have a form or a shape like we human beings have, because when we die, we shed this shell, so to speak, this body, and we become just energy. And the energy is beautiful and can't be destroyed. It's just energy. It can shape and change form, but it can't be destroyed. So you really, when you start to embark this journey, I believe you have to find yourself. You have to accept yourself. You have to look within to see why you might not love yourself, why you might not respect yourself, why you have a low self-esteem, why you have a bad self-confidence, or whatever, you know. But to look into them things and start to learn to like yourself to start with, and then maybe learn to love yourself, makes a huge difference. And when you start to love yourself, you start to respect yourself, and then you don't take bullshit that easy. Me and my friend Eleanor, who do a lot of courses here in Sweden and also abroad, we do one usually in Nerja in Spain every year, and next year we are thinking of going to Croatia. But we have started saying where it says, we don't do bullshit. Because we had enough of it in our whole life. And suddenly, when you are like me, old like me, you know, next year I'm going towards 60 years old, and that's old. Not because I feel it here, but my body sometimes feel it. But you know, when you've been in this game so long, you've been working with this so long, I can't stand drama. I can't stand the backstabbing. I can't stand the jealousy and the enviness in this business. For God's sake, why can't we just allow ourselves to be who we are? Just look at your own business and don't give a about others. Just do your own thing and enjoy what you're doing. Because if you're making a change for someone, you're doing your job. You really do. And that's the purpose with our job, to make a change, a positive change for someone else. And if you do that, you have done your job. And you don't have to do it 10 times a day. And you don't have to be on the news flashes everywhere. I mean, a lot of people actually do a lot of things that not is shown in television or in newspapers. They just do things from the heart and from the love. They're helping people. And they do it from the heart. And we can all help. We can't do everything, but we all can do something. And for me, I used to do a lot of charity work. I bring people in for free from time to time. I look at the talent they have, and I also look sometimes at what's going on in their life. And if I see a light in someone, if I see the light, and you see it usually in their eyes, I give them everything. I take my free time. I spend an hour to talk to them, because if that could help them to move forward and believe in themselves, I've done my job. And I think that's what the medium's job is to do. Not to just stand on the demonstration and be flashy and people think, oh, you're a brilliant medium. I love demonstrating, I really do. But that's just a small, small part of my job. And when I die, I hope when I come back from the spirit world through a medium, that they will remember me as the person Mia was. That I was a good and kind person, not the medium Mia, because that really doesn't matter. How many messages I've been giving? Who cares, you know? But how was I as a human being? Was I a kind person? Was I a good person? Was I a generous person? Was I a loving person? Now we're talking spirituality. Bye.